Sacred beauty lives in sacred spaces. Build one. That's the channeling I got from this little kunzite. And it led me to look for sacred places. I just YouTube sacred places, and the first video I ran into was actually a TED lecture by the architect that was in charge of building the sacred temple, the Baha'i temple, in, I think it was Mexico. And it's a beautiful video. Maybe I'm not lazy, I'd link it down below. And it got me to think about the energy of sacred places and sacred beauty. And what I later found, of course, was this, the many videos of people building their own temples or altars or sacred spaces. And I realized you don't need a lot to do that. So I just took a small carpet that I have and I placed it in the corner of the room, some crystals around it, and began to do my version of meditation that I'll talk about in my next video. So my experience with the sacred place is that it really is separating the sacred from the mundane. So this is a place that's basically dedicated to connect with the divine, with spirit, and clear the space. I do this, I think, between 1 to 3 times a day. I do a very short ritual. I just meditate. I'm going to elaborate on the ritual that I do. And I really like this channeling. I immediately, got to work and build it. It's so easy to build. It's so easy to build. And you just take a little, carpet or whatever you have, place it somewhere in the room, and have some minimal. I have my manifestation notebook. I have a beautiful glass pyramid with these are Hebrew letters, and it's hidden. It's unconditional love. So that's nice energy to summon, and that's in Hebrew. I live in Israel, so it's very easy for me to find Hebrew stuff, and Hebrew is considered sacred language for many people. So it's really a fortune to know it, That's the language, that's my mother tongue. Even though all of my channelings are, nearly all of them most of them in English. So, I don't know. Perhaps it's for the purpose that I'll reach a wider audience and be able to communicate with as much of the world as I can. And that's my sacred space. Do you have a sacred space? If you do, let me know, what do you have in your sacred space? How did you come about to build your sacred space? Do you have an altar? I don't have an altar. And how do you feel when you're there? Do you separate it? Do you separate the practices you do there from other meditative practices? I'm going to dedicate my next video to elaborate on the ritual that I do in my sacred space. So that was the kunzite channeling series, and that's the part 1 is sacred space. Part 2 of sacred space and kunzite channeling is coming up.